Good afternoon. Thank you for being here with us today. My name is Jordan Bullington. I serve as an Assistant Director of Admission at UNC Charlotte and the coordinator of the Passport program. We were established in 2010 as a bridge program that was created in collaboration by both UNC Charlotte and Central Piedmont Community College. The program is fully dedicated to supporting our local students who are graduating high schools and who are planning to then attend Central Piedmont Community College for 1 year and then successfully transition to UNC Charlotte to complete their goal of earning a bachelor's degree. Now, the Passport program has seen immense growth in the last several years. When we first started in 2010, the program was 72 students, and that was the extent. But now in 2018, 8 years later, we now support over 270 students. And so what we've seen is that we've certainly experienced extensive growth, and our support team and the services that we offer have also grown to mirror that growth. However, what we see is that there is a significant obstacle that we cannot address as it currently stands with our funding, and therefore we are proposing the creation of a scholarship program for Passport program students. We've selected the Marengis Foundation as our potential partner in this process because the Passport program has the mission of being fully dedicated to the students, local students, and to making sure that they have the resources and support necessary to be successful. And this mission, we feel, clearly aligns with the Marengis Foundation, which has long been recognized for its dedication and support for the economic and educational advancement of residents within the Charlotte region. For many years, the Marengis Foundation has generously given and supported nonprofit organizations, students, institutions at the post-secondary level, and others to improve the lives of at-risk populations. The goal is to empower young adults, to help them reach and achieve their goals. And the Marengis Foundation has made such a positive impact, and we sincerely believe that by partnering with the Marengis Foundation, the Passport program can provide our students, our local, hardworking students, the resources and support that they need to be successful in their educational pursuits. In the fall of 2018, we enrolled more than 270 students at Central Piedmont as part of the Passport program. These are students who have been identified as an at-risk population based on their prior academic performance, which means that their high school GPAs or their performance on standardized testing may have been slightly below what the competitive ranges for admission to the four-year institution were for that current year. Still highly qualified students who are working very hard, and these are students that we believe are going to be successful in college if they are provided the necessary resources and support to make the transition from high school to college. And so this program is dedicated to doing this for those students, to giving them all of the resources that they need with intentional academic advising to ensure that they're selecting appropriate courses, to learning networks designed to establish and build connections with their peers, to academic support services to bolster the support that they're receiving in the classroom and to make sure they have all that they need to be successful. Looking at our 270 plus students, less than half of our students who applied for federal financial aid this year were able to receive any federal financial support to attend college. So less than half of our students who applied for financial aid received it. And this has a lot to do with the federal financial aid programs that Central Piedmont participates in. They do not participate in any federal student loan programs, but they do participate in federal Pell Grants and the North Carolina Community College grants. But there are certain restrictions that make it challenging for our students to be eligible for either of these grants. And this meant that despite the fact that our population has a significant financial need, there is limited available aid, and this was difficult for our students. It made it very challenging for them to enroll. Many sought alternative loans, or in some cases, they sought to increase their workload to compensate and to supplement and to help pay the cost of tuition and fees. And what we see is that the students that increase their workload to pay the cost of college tuition, that additional time that they're spending working outside of the classroom tends to negatively impact their ability to succeed. And so all of this said, the Passport program proposes establishing a partnership with the Mareinkus Foundation to create the Mareinkus Scholars Program so that we can identify Passport students who have financial need and award academic scholarships to cover a portion of their tuition and fees, and to alleviate this obstacle, this severe financial obstacle that serves as a barrier to their college enrollment. So to continue to elaborate a little bit more on the summary of why we know that there is a need for such a program to exist, these again are students who are considered at risk, or students who have been identified in high school as students who may benefit from having the additional support of the Transfer Bridge program, the Passport program support services. And we are a team that is dedicated to working with our students to make sure they have what they need to be successful. 42% of the current cohort are the first in their families to have ever attended college. And we know that research tells us first-generation students often struggle to connect on college campuses. And because the experience is so new, they're the first in their families to go through the process, there are a lot of questions that they have that they may not recognize. And so part of the benefit to Passport is that we are supporting them and making sure they have the resources they need. 45% of the 2018 cohort received federal financial aid for the 18-19 academic year, which means less than half of our students received any federal financial aid. Not all of this 45% received full federal financial aid. Many were expected to cover a remaining balance that financial aid did not cover. The really challenging aspect for Passport students is that they choose to enroll because there are significant benefits to being part of the program, from the support that's offered to the financial cost savings, because we don't require them to submit new applications for admission. We support them through the process to make it as seamless a transfer as possible. And they choose Passport because their goal is to earn a bachelor's degree. They have chosen professions where a bachelor's degree is necessary. However, by participating in Passport, many have become ineligible for the majority of Central Piedmont scholarships because they're not pursuing a technical degree, or they're not pursuing a Associate of Arts or Associate of Science degree. These are students who are on a very different transfer path. And so by enrolling in Passport, by taking advantage of the benefits the program offers, they're no longer eligible for the financial support that Central Piedmont does offer. Overall, our project has one overarching goal, and that is the ability to alleviate this financial burden of attending college for Passport students with financial need. And when we look at the objectives, what we want to do is identify approximately 145 Passport students who have been identified by the FAFSA, the Free Application for Student Aid, as having financial need, and awarding these students a scholarship in the amount of $1,000 for an academic year. We want to provide incentive, and we believe the scholarship would be that incentive for students to perform well academically. So we want to give them the scholarship with the understanding that in order to maintain the scholarship, they must maintain eligibility by successfully completing their fall coursework as they head into the spring. And then lastly, we want to increase the retention of our Passport students by, again, providing them with this financial support. So giving students who may not have been able to attend college the ability to receive financial support. When we look at how we want to evaluate this project, there are three main areas that we want to focus on: student performance, student experience, and retention. We do plan to track student performance overall. We want to look at the credit hours attempted versus credit hours earned. We want to look at GPA in the individual semesters and the cumulative in that first year. And we want to track their eligibility to transfer to UNC Charlotte and their student retention. We plan to track student progress reports throughout the year that faculty submit to us, and we also plan to conduct focus groups where we work with our students to gauge their experience and individual interpretations of progress. We do want to track the retention of our scholarship recipients, and we want to use the scholarship recipients against the comparison group of Passport students who are not receiving the Mareinkus scholarship. And then lastly, we are going to evaluate the transfer rate, because the goal of the Passport program is to help these students make the successful transition to the university. So we will look to see how many of these students have met the transfer requirements. We know that some students meet the transfer requirements and decide to stay at Central Piedmont a little longer, and that's certainly fine, but we want to see how many successfully meet the transfer criteria to make that jump for those students who decide this is ultimately still the plan. In terms of budget, we are requesting $150,000 from the Mareinkus Foundation. $145,000 of this would be to fund those scholarships for the 145 students. We also plan to offer a scholars reception and midpoint of the year for those students who have maintained eligibility, who are working hard, and that cost would be an additional $500. And then lastly, indirect costs, and these are the costs as determined by Central Piedmont and UNC Charlotte. Any additional costs that may come up, we have proposed this in the amount of $4,500. And so again, we are requesting $150,000 from the Mareinkus Foundation in order to support these students. And we're asking for these funds for the next 3 years. In-kind contributions by UNC Charlotte and Central Piedmont will also be made. At this time, we are making the prediction that this amount would be approximately $2,370, and these funds would include personnel costs for the coordinator roles at the different institutions. The mileage cost as the different coordinators travel to meet with students at the 4 Central Piedmont campuses, and then additional reception cost as necessary. This is a quick overview of the Mareinkus Scholars Project. We do thank you for your consideration of our proposal, and we know that since this is very brief, that you will certainly have additional questions, and please know that we are happy to address those questions at any point. You may refer any questions to us. You can certainly reach out by email at passportprogram@uncc.edu. You can also call me directly as the Passport Program Coordinator. My contact information is available in the full proposal of our project. We thank you again for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you in the near future.